This tour is going to last a couple of hours. It's going to explore all the major historical attractions in Old Town here, like the Mouth of Truth, Circus Maximus, and a lot of other things as well.
We're standing in the junction, as you guys can see, of two hills. The one in front of us is the Palatine Hill. And the one on the other side of the valley that you see in the middle is the Palatine Hill. These communities are going to be the first two communities that are going to start following the dream, the idea of Romulus and Remus in the 8th century before Christ. Everything that you see at the top of the Palatine Hill are known as the homes of emperors. They were used to call the homes in Latin domus. That's why today, somehow, when you talk about something that belongs to home, you still use the same root. If you guys are speaking in Russian, you might say doma, or if you actually speaking in any language that use a Latin derivation of the word, you might call it something domestic. Domus, something that belongs to home, domestic. Make sense? So everything started for the city of Rome in the 8th century before Christ. When Romulus and Remus start chasing their dream, they were not thinking in building the Roman Empire of anything remotely close to it, no. The idea, the dream was getting the communities together. The purpose, protecting each other. And you might say, protecting each other from whom? From outsiders that were used to come and raid all the communities down on the south of the peninsula. Those that were used to raid these communities back in the days were used to be known as the Etruscans. The left, that's Augustus Domus. It's a must, all right? On the right-hand side, the other building that you guys see is Septimus Severus Domus. Septimus Severus is going to be an emperor during the 2nd century after Christ, and he was recognized for two major things.
Which one?
From the division right here in front of us all the way to the end.
Oh.
For two major things. The first one, at the age of 67, he's going to be able to conquer Scotland, and he's going to add it to the Roman Empire. Not just that. At that moment, he's going to do something that we have never seen before in history. He's going to grant citizenship to all individuals inside the Roman Empire. But what it means? It means that if you were Scottish, now you can come down to Spain, cross all the way to Turkey, jump on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, take a quick peek in the pyramids, and keep moving to some of the best beaches in the Mediterranean Sea, right on Morocco, using one single document. Believe it or not, that is something that we haven't been able to achieve even today, that we call ourselves the free world. The second thing, everything that he built or rebuilt was only using recycling materials. We think that recycling is something from the last 2 or 3 decades. Far from true.
So we booked this tour through Guru Walks, which is a free walking tour website that links individuals like ourselves to a number of tour guides throughout the world. I believe it's the largest free walking tour group website there is. So far, the guide is very, very informative about the history. He really knows his stuff. Let's see what else we're going to be doing. So it looks like we're finishing on Circus Maximus now, and we're just going to the next place.
Everything started in the 6th century, and the first things that they're going to do is two major events. The first one, horse competitions in all levels. Individuals, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Always odd numbers for good luck. Total amount of laps, 7. Little by little, this is going to grow in the same pace that the city will do so. Inhabitant Circus Maximus is going to be able to help over 300,000 people at that moment. So what they're going to start doing to recreate what Romans taught them in the circuses are creating these long tents where they're going to allow horses to run inside in wild beasts being dominated by men known as circus. This is something that is going to be so attractive and so entertaining for them that little by little this is going to pass from generation to generation. It is going to move from corner to corner, reaching us even today. Because if I ask you guys, have you ever been in a circus? There's no way for you to tell me no. That is where everything started. Depending on the crime is gonna be the punishment that they're gonna receive. The most common punishment was cutting the hand. It's actually inside. It's big and it's delicious and it's waiting for us. So my idea is let's go and enjoy the cake. Be able to appreciate everything that this city has to offer. You know what that is? Eventually, throughout the coming centuries, you're gonna be declared as a saint, and that's what we have left from him. So, and not just that, he's the one that makes us go to the mall every year, you know, to get the gifts and everything. All the way until the time of Julius Caesar, marriage was just a religious ceremony. Julius Caesar is gonna be the man that is gonna pass the first female right in history. He's gonna force the Senate to present the wife of a man in case that he's gone as the legal representative. From that point on, women are gonna be the legal representative of the husbands. Take a look, for example, on the ceilings. You guys see all the holes in the ceiling, the little holes? And even nails are still standing today on the walls. You guys see all these nails still standing in the holes everywhere? What they're gonna start doing is they're gonna start nailing the bones on the walls. This little screw is gonna allow them to pass a little piece of thread. And that thread is gonna allow them to tie every set of bone for the coming centuries without missing a single square inch of the place. They're gonna figure out the last human remaining placed in this crypta was deposited here in 1832 until 10 years ago, when they decide to relocate all these human remains to a cemetery and start reconstructing the Circus Maximus of Hercules and the crypta of Hades. And you know what's the saddest part? That you guys saw the line out there to go and test the mouth of truth. You don't see not even one single of them down here. That's why I want to bring you here, because I want to make your experience just a little bit more unique of what already is, and I want you guys to be able to grasp something very unique throughout the time that you guys stay in the city. Gods are always superior than us. So that's why you will always see steps in the ancient temple, because we gotta climb to see them since they are way higher than us. The next thing that you guys are gonna see is cylindrical shape, circular shape, open ceilings. The ceiling that you guys see is something that is being placed eventually by the Catholic Church when they Christianized these particular pagan temples. This is not a triumph arch. This is an entrance arch. Entrance to the sea. Dedicated to Janus. Janus was used to be the god of beginnings and ends. That's why if I ask you guys in English, what's the beginning of the year, you're gonna say January. Still honors the god of beginnings. Beginning of the 11th century, in 1011, is going to build this tower as a gift to a pope. The purpose is, look, Your Highness, this is what we can do. And some of you that are coming from farthest glasses, which you might don't know how relevant a structure like this is during that period. But this is the beginning of the 11th century. What this family is showing to the Pope is that they are able to use in a single structure the three classical techniques of construction. The combination of arches, pillars, columns, and highly detailed architectonical details. Just to let him see, hey, look, this is who we are. Very few communities, I'm not gonna say few communities, very few families were able to deliver something like this during this century, because this century is the middle of the Dark Ages for Western Europe. Take a look on the line of trees that you see on our right hand side, and the first building that you're gonna see right there, that is the Synagogue of Rome, the second largest in Europe.
Can we go around there and then into the water?
Oh, you want to go swimming?
Yeah. Did we bring my swimsuit?
The day that the bridge actually collapsed was in 1554. And the reason why is because a new pope came to Rome. His name, Paul IV. Paul IV is gonna take all the working forces from the city, and he's gonna force them to do and build a new neighborhood on that side of the city. He's gonna call this neighborhood the Jewish Ghetto. It's gonna be the second one established in history. During the time of the construction, what Paul IV did is he abandoned everything else in the city. The bridge was required maintenance, he didn't do it, and the bridge collapsed. For Romans, seeing a bridge that has been with us for over 18 centuries was the sign of something terrible about what happened because of what he started doing on the other side of the city. And I tell you what, I could not agree more with them, because what we're gonna see is atrocities happening against our own citizens for the coming 3 centuries. Because what he's gonna do is he's gonna segregate our own citizens just because they believe something different than the rest of the community that were used to be Jewish, but at the end of the day are our citizens. Before Christ. In the arches, guys, you can still see the original engravings at the top. If you guys try to read them, you guys still can read that says Fabricius CF Coviard. Coviard means Latin. Coviard means bridge in Latin. So you guys can see how original the bridge is. And the next thing that I want you to guys see is what's actually under the bridge. Take a look on the structure and how they were used to build these bridges. Under, you can see how they were used to link the blocks. For structures like this, they are not gonna use concrete, because remember, concrete is too rigid. Structures that are constantly under stress needs to be able to release that stress in one form or another one. Otherwise, if it's too rigid, it will crack. And if the structure cracks, guess what? Collapsing is the next thing happening. So that's why what they're gonna do is they're gonna create this linking system that will allow that stress to be released in every level of the construction. We're gonna keep moving inside the Jewish ghetto, and we're gonna place ourselves right on the heart of it, where we gotta talk about what happens on that place during the 20th century, not long ago. All right, let's go. Now it's the heart of the Jewish ghetto, and as you guys can imagine, during the World War II, this place is gonna be targeted by the Gestapo. Not just targeted, This is the place where the Gestapo is going to run one of the most impressive military raids of the World War II until that time. In 16th of October of 1943, they're going to be able to capture the capital of a state, infiltrating it and taking citizens to be sent to the concentration camps in a record time. The whole operation is going to take less than 24 hours. Total amount of captures that day, 16th of October 1943, 1,259. All of them are going to send and receive in hostage. At the time of their arrival, they're going to check them, and they're going to realize that the total amount of them as a real Jewish are going to be 1,044. All of them are going to stay in the concentration camps, and most of them are going to get executed within the following 6 weeks. Only 16 survivors will make it, and the reason why is that because they managed to escape. Out of those 16, one single woman will come later on back home. And this museum, it's in the memory of those that actually were taken away from home and sent to the concentration camps. The entrance is totally free in case that you guys want to visit it, but I gotta tell you the truth, it's kind of a heavy place. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a little bit about Roman history on this place. What we're gonna see next is what is known as the Porticus of Octavius. You might say, the what? From whom? Porticus, it's a rectangular construction of a single-story house with a massive gardens in the center with a very small entrance that was used to be known as the Propileus. This kind of structures, it's where most of the family or relatives of the leaders of Rome or business class are gonna live. You're gonna pour melted lead all around that little block of bronze. You got about 20 to 25 minutes for that metal to cool down, so that is the time that you have to lift up the next block and drop it on top. What's gonna happen there is the weight of the other block is gonna push the lead, amalgamizing it and forcing it to fill up every gap in between. And not just that, the excess of it is gonna be pushed out by the little channels that you guys see right here. And then you're gonna build 1 story high. So technically you already have yourself a porticus. Now, if you want to bring family and friends, you can continue going higher and higher and build yourself a theater. And now you might be thinking, wait a minute, but you want me to bring family and friends to a construction with this technique, with no concrete? I don't think it's safe. Let me tell you something, you guys want to stick with this one better than concrete. In the middle right here, you can see actually there, and the bronze in the middle, still holding the block. When you guys look at structures like this one, for example, what do you guys see here? This is the origin of the material, nothing new for you, north of Europe. When you look at the style, monolithic piece, means what? Roman classical style, nothing for you, nothing new for you. When you guys look at the basics, what do you see here? White marble from Greece. You already know the origin of every piece. When you guys look at the damages done right here, this is nothing new for you. You already know how, why, and when this happens. So you guys see how now this story is also part of your own. Next thing that I want you to guys see, take a look on that temple. Some of you are gonna jump right out and you're gonna say, guys, that's a Greek classical style temple, so most likely it's gonna be older than the 2nd century before Christ. You guys got it right. A good example of that is that is Apollo's temple, dated 5th century before Christ. Date of construction 431 before Christ. You guys can come back and remember what you conquered today. Because I tell you one thing, I don't see only dreamers with me today. What I see in front of me are those that take dreams and make them a reality. I see creators. Guys, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your adventure. Thank you so much. Thank you.